The live action Snow White is coming out this Friday, and I'm so excited because the Evil Queen is one of my all-time favorite characters, and I want to cosplay as her tomorrow. But all I have is the animated version of this costume. So in looking at these teaser pictures of Gal Gadot as the Evil Queen from the new movie, the one signature piece that she has that is very different from the animated movie is her crown. So I'm going to recreate the Evil Queen's crown from the live action Snow White in 48 hours. The first thing I need to figure out are the proportions of the crown and how big I want it to be. In looking at these pictures, the crown is actually taller than her face is long, but I feel like if I make it that big, it's really gonna overwhelm my face. So I was gonna start by trying on the crown from the animated version of the costume that I have, but I don't know, I didn't really realize that the crown is already attached. So the first thing I'm gonna do, I guess, is make a cowl without a crown on it, and then we can start talking about game plan for the crown. So I first started by using the existing cowl to make the beginnings of a pattern, and then I used this handy dandy Maria von Trapp wig as a head model and began draping the material over the head and pinning it in place to make a pattern. Please admire my amazing camera work as I pin out of frame. Hopefully it comes into frame soon. Yeah, nope, it never does. Oh, there we go, kind of. Well, hopefully you get the idea. So then I took out all the pins, cut away the excess material, and came up with a mock-up. I transferred this back onto pattern paper, cut out V2 of the cowl, and sewed it together. Well, the neck was too baggy, the face hole was way too big, and the top of the head needed a bit taken off. So it was time for V3 out of the final fabric, for which I used this super soft dress that I got from Goodwill a while ago, simply because I loved the feel of the fabric and I figured this was perfect because it was going to be on my dainty little face. I ended up cutting out the face hole way smaller than I actually thought it needed to be, which I was very thankful for because it ended up being perfect, and if I had cut it any bigger, it would have been a disaster. Is done. I then measured my head, which was approximately 23 inches in circumference and 8 inches long. I made a base for the crown out of an elastic band that I would mount the panels onto, and the band I used was 20 inches. You don't want to make it the same circumference of your head because it should be shorter so that it can stretch bigger and then stay tight on your head. Does that make any sense? I hope so. Next, I went into the design concept phase that ended up requiring a lot of math, and it was later thrown out the window because it was not correct. Anyways, here's what I came up with. Okay, that was a lot. Here's the plan. I have made this band of elastic. It only needs to stretch a tiny bit, 3 inches to be exact. So, by my deduction, that means I need to leave about 3 or 4 inches of this open so that it can stretch. I can't really tell how many panels, I'm gonna just call them panels, the triangular pieces her crown really has. It's somewhere between 6 and 8. I'm gonna go with 6 because I think that's gonna be easier to build. So 6 panels, 2 of them 3 inches wide at the base, and the other 4 2.5 inches, and that should fit on this 20-inch elastic band. First things first, let's cut out those panels. Here are the pattern pieces I sketched out, and because my head was 8 inches long, I went with 8 inches for the peak height of the middle panel, and then I made each descending pattern piece as it moves towards the back 1 inch shorter. Okay, I've got all of these pieces cut out of EVA foam. And on this pattern piece, I kind of sketched out the design that is on the crown. Then I transferred that design onto each piece of EVA foam. And since I wasn't really sure how the paint was gonna work or look on the foam, I tested pretty much every metallic paint that I owned on a scrap piece of foam until I came up with the final color palette. And then I painted all the panels. Next, once the panels were dry enough, I took some plastic transparencies that I had ordered off Amazon, laid them over the top of the triangular pieces, and traced that design using black puff paint. Puff painted all of the plastic sheets. I have all 6 of the triangular panels painted, and really all I have to do tomorrow is kind of put it all together. So I think it's gonna be possible for me to cosplay as the Evil Queen tomorrow. Fingers crossed. All right, good night, see you in the morning. About to go wash all this paint off my hands. Bye. Good morning. It is day 2 and I'm taking a look at how everything dried and I'm super happy. These are all dry and I just think they're gonna look so cute. So cute. I'm thinking the way that I'm gonna attach these is spray adhesive. I'll probably start with this back panel just to make sure it's not cloudy. I don't think it will be, but I'll spray this, lay the plastic piece on top and attach it that way. And still my biggest question mark is how exactly am I attaching these? When I hold them up, this is how I was intending to do it, but then we do see like little bits of elastic here. I don't know if I like that. So I also could maybe like overlap them or like cut the shape down here so that they are like more flush together. I am unsure how I'm gonna do that. So that's my biggest question mark, but I'm gonna figure that out and then try it on with the cowl and it'll be basically done. So later today I'm gonna be going live wearing this crown as the Evil Queen from the new live action Snow White, and next week's video is gonna be a full deep dive on how I do her makeup, so make sure you subscribe to this account so you can check out that video. I also forgot to mention yesterday, I also have this video on how I made the magic mirror from Snow White, so also make sure to check that one out. Okay, without further ado, let's get to work on these panels, attaching the plastic to the foam and then attaching the panels to the elastic or whatever I end up doing, because it is T-minus like 2.5 hours before I need to get into makeup. So here we go. Okay, we're gonna test the first one and make sure it doesn't come out foggy. Oh, it's hard to match up exactly. Oh. Oh. Okay, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. Okay, it's not foggy, but oh, it is hard to line it up exactly. Good to know. But yeah, it's really stuck on there. This worked really well. All right, time 6. So now was the process of trying to figure out how to attach this whole thing together. So I decided to pin each of the panels to the elastic so that I would get a feel for how it was gonna look before I committed fully with glue, which thank goodness I did this. Okay, it fits. It's like a little janky. And I think a lot of the reason is that we're seeing a lot of this elastic. Not loving it. Not loving it. Okay, took that all apart. Okay. I do think if they overlap, it's gonna be a little better. All right, I think I need to make these cuts. Okay, I'm just gonna commit. And I do have one extra of this puff paint. So I could make another panel this size. I think the paint would dry in time. It's the puff paint that takes too long to dry. So I could add a 7th panel in the back of this size if I need to. Okay, let's go for it. So I think my best bet here is barge contact cement and then some fabric across the back. So I need to paint another one of these quickly. Okay, it's painted. I'm gonna go put it outside, so hopefully it'll dry quickly. 7th panel acquired. That is the finished crown. Barge, fabric, hot glue. Let's go. I reinforced the tips and the edges with high temp hot glue, and then I repinned the crown onto the elastic, leaving a few inches in the back for the crown to be able to stretch. Okay, it's so much better than it was. Okay, this is what the back looks like. Okay. And yeah, obviously I don't like that it's open back here, but let me try it on with the cowl. I don't know what to do. Okay, here's where I'm at. I really love it from the front. I think it looks amazing. Here's the back. It's not even glued yet, it's just pinned, but look, I'm doing this for a live stream, so it truly doesn't matter. No one sees the back of my head. Also, let's remember that for live events, this is what we're currently sending out, so it's definitely better than that. There's no back to the crown nor a top of the head. Perplexing. But just for like crown integrity, I feel like there should be a back. But here's the problem. The elastic has to be able to stretch. So I can't put a panel that covers like the entire thing, or it'll just like have to set down on your head and it'll never stay. As it is with the elastic, I don't even need like a snap or anything. And I need it to fit multiple heads so that it can go out to live events. So it just doesn't make sense for me to make a crown that just like sits on the head that only fits my head measurements. Now, if you're making this for yourself, you don't even need elastic. You can just make a band that fits your head, make these go all the way around and then just sets down. But for my purposes, I want to be able to use it for multiple people. So I just have to make it adjustable. So my option is leave like 3/4 of an inch on either side of these panels and then put a panel that's about 1.5 inches wide here, or just leave it. And I'm going back and forth, and I think I'm gonna leave it. I don't know how it'll look with space in between that panel anyway, and I think it might just look cleaner of like, this is the way it was intended. And I'm a little bit lazy, and sometimes that's just how it goes in cosplay. It's like make it work time. My live stream's in 2 hours. I still have to finish setting up my setup. I have to do all my makeup and film that. But yeah, I'm really out of time. So for all those reasons, I'm gonna just commit to this. I'm gonna hot glue it right now. and call it good. So with that, I will see you in the final results. It is done. Pulled it off, like 36 hours and a finished product. Okay, so here's the first and most important thing I have to tell you. I guess I thought when I was pinning these panels to the elastic and trying it on, and I said that this elastic part back here, like, wasn't really needed, should I cover it? Thought that the pinning was exactly the same as the glue. No, not so. As soon as I hot glued this and then I got all in and I tried it on for the first time, I was like, oh my god, why does it suddenly not fit? So not only am I definitely not able to put a panel back here, but I had even like stitched it in a little bit smaller at one point and I had to take that stitching out. It literally would not fit my head. And even now it is pretty tight and gives me a wee bit of a headache after wearing it for like 30 minutes. So there was no option. We cannot put a panel in the back. So that solved the debate of if we should put something in the back. No, because it wouldn't work. Other than the back not being my absolute favorite, I love it. I'm super happy with it. Delighted. I think it really takes this costume to a new level. I have a feeling we're never gonna use that old crown again, even if the live action isn't requested. I think it is so cool. Next step is remake this collar thing because it is just, ugh, it's a no. But that's not what the video is about, so ignore that. Remember that next week is going to be my makeup tutorial on the live action Evil Queen. So make sure to tune in for that one. Make sure to subscribe and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!